Hello friends, I'm Pankaj Sharma and I'm back with the fifth and final module of my series on ESG and its importance for dairy industry. Friends, while in the first module we gave an introduction to the concept of ESG, for ease of understanding, the whole concept was broken down into five major areas according to the implication of ESG, namely animals, farmers, processing and transportation, sales and distribution, and consumers. In the second module, we touched upon all the five sections briefly to provide an introduction to the concept and the implication on all the areas. In the third module, we dealt with first two sections, namely animals and farmers, in detail. And if you remember, in the fourth module, we covered the area of raw material transportation from villages up to the plant and its processing into milk and milk products, its impact on the environment and society, and ways to mitigate the adverse impacts. Now, we received a very good response to all these four modules, and I am thankful to my viewers for the same. The fifth and final module, which I am presenting now, will cover the front end of the business, that is, the sales and distribution and the final consumer. Hope you would like the presentation as much as you have appreciated my earlier modules. Please do not forget to like the video if you find it useful, and also subscribe to my channel so that you continue to get notifications for my future offerings. Happy viewing.
In the previous modules, we have talked about ESG in the space of animals, farmers, milk transportation, and processing. In the fifth module, we will discuss the ESG impact and mitigation in the areas of sales and distribution and consumers. As mentioned earlier, adoption of environment friendly and socially responsible practices, the two important and critical components of ESG, becomes beneficial for the dairy industry for its long-term sustenance and financial viability. Based on the above, the whole gamut of ESG in dairy industry can be classified into five categories: animals, farmers, milk handling post milking, that is raw material transportation and processing, consumers, and sales and distribution. Sales and distribution. Sustainable sales and distribution refers to any means of transportation, hauling of goods between vendor and customer or consumers with lowest possible impact on the ecological and social environment, and includes the whole distribution process from storage, order processing and picking, packaging, improved vehicle loading, delivery to the consumer or purchaser, and taking back packaging. The subsequent slides will talk about ESG impact and mitigation in the areas of S&D in four major sections, namely cold chain maintenance and integrity, fossil fuel usage, effective channel partner management, and food safety. Milk and dairy products being perishable, it is absolutely essential to maintain them under cold chain conditions, right from the stage of their storage in warehouses, in cold stores and freezers, to transportation for distribution in insulated and refrigerated vans, and stocking in shops, carts, etc. for the sales to consumers, like visi-coolers, refrigerators, insulated carts, etc. While it is technically required to maintain the cold chain to avoid spoilage of products due to their exposure to hot ambient temperature and prevent losses, it is also mandatory to maintain the cold chain integrity as per the norms of the FSSAI. Any breakdown in cold chain would lead to product going bad, sale of which may attract penal provisions. Following the FSSAI norms also makes it a governance issue, so that the organization is always on the right side of the law. However, the usage of cold chain infrastructure has the potential to cause environmental damage from the emissions of CFC, which depletes the ozone layer. Some of the major steps which can be taken to address this issue could be use of modern technology, air conditioning and refrigeration which do not use CFC, or use CFC 22 which is less harmful as it stays in the environment for a shorter period of time. Regular inspection and maintenance of ACs and refrigeration appliances, and properly dispose of and recycle these appliances. Fossil fuel usage. Transportation of milk and milk products is done in vehicles running on fossil fuels, causing air pollution in a big way. Various studies have established that out of 3 kg per kg of milk, hardly 4 to 5% of total emissions is generated by transportation of milk. Major part of the total emission is contributed by land use change, around 18%, and farm practices, close to 50%. However, still it is a concern to be addressed in the interest of the organization and the economy to optimize the transportation effect on environment for cost controls, transportation optimization, that is saving time and maintaining raw material quality, and global focus on fossil fuel non-proliferation, making use of petroleum products non-sustainable in the coming future. Mitigation can be done by usage of CNG and electric vehicles and rationalization of transportation routes to reduce distance traveled. Most of the dairies now use CNG vehicles for city distribution, hence this is no longer a very big problem to tackle. However, still most of the long distance distribution from city where the plant is located to various upcountry markets is still done in traditional vehicles. Green logistics procedures, which aim at realizing business strategies in an environment friendly manner, come forward as important points that will provide competitive advantage for businesses. The operations that will provide social, economic, and environmental sustainability closely relate to the logistics sector. Minimizing the harms that the sector has on environment is only possible through effective strategies for sustainability. In this context, businesses must transport their products in large bulks to reduce number of vehicles used, must encourage reverse logistics programs to reduce number of trips, must optimize the packaging operations and the materials used in them to save space and load, must prefer environment-friendly technologies for vehicles and engines, must reorganize shipping plans and routes, must regularly perform their vehicles' emission checks, must stop the use of aged vehicles. Effective channel partner management. Sustainable sales and distribution system is a complex endeavor that requires a multifaceted approach. Foremost requirement for an efficient sales and distribution system is to have a motivated and proactively engaged channel partner. The nature of the dairy industry, where the organization needs to interact with the consumer daily and in most of the cases twice a day, the business objectives can be accomplished only with the help of properly engaged channel partners. Only when the retailers and distributors are fully satisfied and aligned with organization's objectives and sustainability goals, the dairy organization would be able to service their consumers regularly and promptly. Apart from the commercial reasons, it is also a social obligation on part of the organization to keep the channel partners happy, satisfied, motivated, and engaged. This can be achieved by having a transparent arrangement with the partners wherein the terms and conditions of the engagement are clearly defined and are sincerely followed, processing their claims as per agreed terms and paying them regularly in time, and addressing their complaints and grievances and concerns promptly. Accurately assessing the market demand is another important step in effective channel partner management. Adoption of streamlined customer relationship management system offers end-to-end insight throughout the sales journey and provides a real-time understanding of the market demand and customer needs. Accurate forecast on one hand helps in reduction of wastage by avoiding overproduction, and also improves productivity even without any further improvement in technology or product design, and is thus a sustainable way of production and sales. Another benefit of the above is that we get an up-to-date knowledge of available stocks on store shelves and the channel partner warehouses, which on one hand helps in avoiding excessive stockpiling in stores and maintaining right inventory levels, and also enables the organization in properly planning and scheduling the production. Both the above result in improving productivity and also reduce wastage, thus making the whole operation more sustainable. The above streamlined customer relationship management system also helps the organization to constantly be in touch with the major market influencers like the channel partners and being aware of the latest local industry trends. This enables the organization to tailor-make the product offerings and services according to the local conditions. This, on one hand, helps the organization in developing localized production strategies and plans, and also establish pricing strategies for different market segments, thereby optimizing the sales and also provide value for money suited to the local operations. Food safety. And now, it's a very critical one. The Food Safety and Standards Authority of India (FSSAI) has established guidelines to ensure the safe handling and sale of milk and milk products. Here are some key norms related to cold chain maintenance and sales and marketing of milk and milk products. Good hygiene practice, that is GHP, cold chain management, and labeling and standards. Following food safety norms and standards on one hand is critical as a social obligation on part of the organization, and on the other hand, this is a major governance measure in view of the food safety laws and regulations. Adherence to these norms contributes to the overall safety and quality of milk and milk products available in the market and helps the consumers in making informed choices. This also ensures that the organization is always on the right side of the law. Good hygienic practices, that is GHP. As per the Code of Hygienic Practices for Milk and Milk Products, CAC/RCP 57 of 2004 of the Codex Alimentarius Commission, following overarching principles apply to the production, processing, and handling of all milk and milk products. From raw material production to the point of consumption, dairy products produced under this code should be subject to a combination of control measures, and these control measures should be shown to achieve the appropriate level of public health protection. Good hygienic practices should be applied throughout the food chain so that milk and milk products are safe and suitable for their intended use. Wherever appropriate, hygienic practices for milk and milk products should be implemented within the context of HACCP as described in the annexure to the General Principles of Food Hygiene (CAC RCP 1 of 1969). Although the primary responsibility lies with the farmers and manufacturers for ensuring that the foods manufactured are safe and suitable, there is a continuum of effective effort and control needed by other parties, including the sales and distribution system, in ensuring the safety and suitability of milk and milk products before they reach the final consumer. Specific problem areas where food may be at risk for physical, chemical, or biological contamination during sales and distribution, improper refrigeration or temperature control of relevant food products in storage or during transportation, that is temperature abuse, improper management of transportation units or storage facilities to preclude cross contamination, including improper sanitation, backhauling, hazardous material, etc., improper packing of transportation units or storage facilities used during transport, including incorrect use of packing material and poor pallet quality, improper loading practices, conditions or equipment, including improper sanitation of loading equipment, not using dedicated units where appropriate, inappropriate loading patterns, and transporting mixed loads that increase the risk for contamination. Specific problem areas where food may be at risk for physical, chemical, or biological contamination during sales and distribution. Improper unloading practices, conditions, or equipment, including improper sanitation of equipment and leaving materials on docks for hours. Poor pest control in transportation units or storage facilities. Lack of employee training and supervisor, manager, owner, driver knowledge of food safety and security. Poor employee hygiene. Inadequate preventive maintenance for storage facilities and transportation units, resulting in roof leaks, gaps in doors, and dripping condensation or ice accumulation. Improper handling and tracking of rejected loads and salvaged, reworked, and returned products or products destined for disposal. Good hygiene practices. To achieve an effective continuum, distributors, transporters, and retailers should ensure that milk and milk products under their control are handled and stored properly and according to the manufacturer's instructions. From milk production to final consumption, products should be stored at appropriate temperatures and for appropriate times such that the growth or development of a food safety hazard will be minimized and the product's suitability will not be adversely affected. It is important that clear communications and interactions exist between the manufacturer and distributors and transporters and retailers to help assure good practices are employed, that problems are identified and resolved in an expeditious manner, and that the integrity of the entire food chain is maintained. Now let us come to cold chain management. Dairy products require strict attention as they move through the cold chain because of the risk they pose to consumers if that very cold chain is broken. Cold chain management plays a crucial role in ensuring the quality and safety of milk and milk products throughout their sales and distribution process. Effective cold chain management in the dairy industry ensures that milk and its value added products remain fresh, safe, and of high quality from plant to consumers. If the cold chain is broken, the products may pose a serious risk and health hazard to the end consumer. At times, the bacteria the exposed product cultivates may prove to be deadly. It is therefore critical that supply chain managers do everything they can to ensure that the cold chain remains intact. In order to ensure that cold chain is maintained and the risk associated with any breakdown in cold chain are avoided and mitigated, here are three best practices to be adopted by the supply chain managers. First is complete food hazards analysis. Most obvious food hazard to dairy is temperature. Different categories of products like ambient, cold, and frozen have different safe temperature zones, and one needs to ensure that the products are stored and shipped in containers specific to a product category. As different dairy products have different shelf lives, hence timetables also present specific risks, and one has to consider the same while deciding the product mix in a shipment. All these risks should be listed and taken into account at every step of the cold chain, typically through software specifically designed for the purpose, and accompanying controls should be implemented to prevent issues. Temperature monitoring and logging using data loggers are two of the most important controls used to manage risk in the cold chain. Second, establishing stringent cleaning schedule. As in order to maintain the cold chain, the storage and shipping containers and vehicles are required to be tightly closed and sealed. The risk of cross contamination and bacterial growth due to subsequent spillage of products inside the cabin and enclosures increases manifold. In order to prevent the same from happening, it is essential that regular cleaning of the equipment and vehicle cabins and enclosures is carried out. Cleaning machinery and other equipment regularly reduces the risk of spreading dangerous bacteria, which is why regular sanitization schedules should be followed and all the cleaning recorded. Number 3. Develop a tracking and monitoring program. Often, problems in the supply chain are noted, but steps are not taken to track down the root of the problem or to impose processes to ensure it does not occur again. When something goes wrong, it is crucial to find the root of the issue in order to minimize its consequences and prevent its occurrences. In order to ensure this, a number of controls, both manual as well as technology enabled, need to be put in place so that an unbroken cold chain is maintained. Some of these could be setting up dashboards for regular reporting of key parameters, incentivizing shippers for maintaining the cold chain throughout the journey of the product, using pallets which are compatible with RFID tracking, which allows one to see where pallets have traveled and when they arrived at each stop in order to identify and fix lapses in the cold chain. Labeling and standards. Food labeling has emerged as one of the major compliance requirements in achieving food safety in recent times, and hence the declarations on a product label become important. Since a consumer decides on a packaged product on the basis of certain parameters like the product composition, ingredients, nutritional facts, batch before or use of before date, vegetarian or non-vegetarian logo, and additives like preservatives, colors, etc., the importance of product label assumes huge significance. Section 23 of FSS Act provides for food packaging and labeling as below. No person shall manufacture, distribute, sell, or expose for sale, or dispatch, or deliver to any agent or broker for the purpose of sale any packaged food products which are not marked and labeled in the manner as may be specified by regulations. Every food business operator shall ensure that the labeling and presentation of food, including their shape, appearance, or packaging, the packaging materials used, the manner in which they are arranged, and the setting in which they are displayed, and the information which is made available about them through whatever medium does not mislead consumers. A label has been defined under the Act as any tag, brand, mark, pictorial or other descriptive matter written, printed, stenciled, marked, embossed, graphic, perforated, stamped or impressed on or attached to container, cover, lid or crown of any food package and include a product insert. The Food Safety and Standards Packaging and Labeling Regulations 2011, the Packaging and Labeling Regulations formulated under the FSS Act details the general and specific requirements for food packaging and the parameters for labeling declarations, which is mandatory for all pre-packaged food products to comply with. It mandates that every packaged food be properly labeled at the head of the manufacturer or packer before it is distributed for ultimate sale to a consumer. It provides for product specific labeling and mandatory declarations related to use of certain additives such as colors and flavors in food. General provisions related to labeling and packaging regulations 2.1 of the packaging and labeling regulations are: food products should be packed only using food grade and approved packaging materials. A label should be applied in such a manner that it will not become separated from the container. The particulars of declaration required must be given in English or Hindi in Devanagari script. Additionally, other regional languages may be used for declaration on the label. Contents of the label must be clear, prominent, indelible, and readily legible by the consumer under normal conditions of purchase and use. Mandatory declarations. Regulation 2.2 of the packaging and labeling regulations are: name of the food, list of ingredients in descending order of their composition with an appropriate title ingredients, nutritional information per 100 gram or 100 ml or per serving of the product, declaration regarding vegetarian, non-vegetarian in the form of a logo, declaration regarding food additives, class names and international numerical system numbers, full name and complete address of the manufacturer, packer, importer, net quantity of the product, lot, code, batch identification number, date of manufacturing or packing, best before use by date, storage instructions if any shall be provided along with it, instructions for use if any, and country of origin in case of imported products only. Method and manners related to labeling and labeling declarations. Regulation 2.3 of the packing and labeling requirements. Every declaration which is required to be made on a package must be legible, prominent, definite, plain and unambiguous. As far as practicable, all the information must be given in such style or lettering as to be boldly, conspicuously and in distinct contrast with the background of the label, must not contain false or misleading statements which include claims of any type, statement, design, device, fancy name or abbreviation. Means a food which is placed in a package of any nature in such a manner that the contents cannot be changed without tampering it and which is ready for sale to the consumer. Must preferably be given in one place. However, for online printing, printed information must be grouped together and given in one place, whereas online information shall be grouped together and given in another place. Must maintain the specified height of the numeral in the declaration. Specific labeling compliances. Regulation 2.4 of the Packaging and Labeling Regulations. Certain food products or categories are required to comply with additional declarations like all packages of drinking water bottles must carry the declaration "Crush the bottle after use" in bold and capital letters. Other categories of food that carry this additional declaration requirement are edible oils, meat, milk and milk products. Infant foods also require additional detailed labeling requirements, etc. Allergen warning, statutory warnings, etc. Prohibitions. Regulation 2.4.6 of the Packaging and Labeling Regulations. There are certain restrictions and prohibitions on product labeling, like labels not to contain reference to act or rules or regulations contradictory to required particulars, labels not to use words implying recommendations by medical profession, unauthorized use of words or pictures showing imitation prohibited in case a product is a substitute for any food, for example fruit juice without any fruit and made up of fruit flavor. The word pure shall only be used in case the product is actually pure. Food advertisements shall not be misleading or contravening the provisions of the FSS Act. A knowledge of all the labeling requirements applicable to the specific food category being stored or distributed by the concerned food business operator and its compliance is the sole responsibility of the FBO. No food business operator shall sell or offer for sale any article of food to any vendor unless he also gives a guarantee in writing in the form specified by regulations about the nature and quality of such article to the vendor, provided that a bill, cash memo, or invoice in respect of the sale of any article of food given by a food business operator to the vendor shall be deemed to be a guarantee. Wholesaler, distributor and seller on the other hand shall be liable only for sale after expiry, stored or supplied in violation of the safety instructions, unsafe or misbranded, received with knowledge of being unsafe, handled or kept in unhygienic conditions, selling product where manufacturer is unidentifiable. Consumers. This section deals with the legal and social obligations on part of the dairy organization vis-a-vis the final consumer. Following are the 5 major concerns which need to be addressed. Regular supplies. Dairy organizations deal in milk and milk products which are essential food items, and thus it is incumbent upon the organization to ensure regular supplies at right time. Any disruption in supplies not only causes financial loss to the organization, but more importantly, ends up disrupting the daily nutrition requirement of the consumers. Hence, this is one of the most important components of ESG in dairy industry. Number two, reasonable prices. The cooperative dairy organizations, especially formed under Operation Flood, have the supply of quality milk and milk products to consumers at a reasonable price, even while ensuring remunerative price to the farmers as their mission statement. With this in view, it is critical for the dairy organization to manage the entire cost structure, especially the operating costs, efficiently so that the product can be continually provided to the consumers at an affordable price while ensuring a remunerative price to the farmers and be the price leaders in their respective markets. This enables the organization to maintain the price line in the entire market and serve the interests of the consumers at large and meet their social obligations. Third, safe food. Ensuring safe food to consumers is not only a statutory requirement but is also a social obligation for the dairy organization. This has been dealt with in detail in the earlier sections on food safety. Fourth, cold chain integrity. Milk and milk products being perishable, it is incumbent upon the dairy organization that the entire cold chain from farm to fork is strictly maintained without any major break so that the final consumer gets the safe product. This is also required as per the law, FSSAI guidelines. This has been dealt with in detail in the earlier section on cold chain integrity and misleading claims already discussed in earlier sections in detail. So friends, with this we come to the end of my fifth and final module on ESG and its importance and applicability in dairy industry. For me, this has been an intellectually stimulating and satisfying journey, and I sincerely hope that you also would have liked and found it somewhat useful. The subject of ESG is very vast, and my series is a small effort in the direction of making it easily comprehensible and useful. In case you have liked my effort, please do not forget to press the like button and also subscribe to my channel at the rate Pankaj CRO 2022, as I would be posting more such videos and you would continue to get notifications of my future offerings. Till then, goodbye and happy viewing. Friends, at the end of the video, I have given the links of my earlier 4 videos of this series, and in case you want to go through them further, you can use the links. And in case you want to get in touch with me, please feel free to do so using the contact details given below. Till then, goodbye.